The Gameplan, presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn.
Welcome into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, Logan Paulsen. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr. And coach, it was a tough loss last Sunday. What's been your message to the guys to turn the page as we head to New York?
Yeah, tough loss, and I'm hopeful for all of them that this will be their low point in their career. That's the hardest one, that's the lowest one, and it has to be, Bri. And you've got to be able to take what's there and carry on what you need, and not bring some of that with us. So it was a tough loss, team loss all the way through. And so heading into it, back to our division, what we need to get done, but the process of winning needs to happen. And we need to get ourselves in this left-hand column by any means necessary. That's the message.
How has the leadership on the team handled this adversity?
Obviously, like dumbfounded, just frustrated, all those things. I think there was two, big gut punches and 2 overtime losses, back to back that definitely, left its mark. But that's our job. You got to get up off the mat. You got to fight. And so I am certain that we will do that.
And Coach, Logan mentions leadership, and that makes me think about Zach Ertz.
Yes.
And losing such a powerful leader like that. It was such a gut-wrenching injury that we saw on that field. How do you replace not only the productivity on the field, which he had as well, but also that leadership?
Yeah. I didn't get the chance to know Zach much prior to coming here, but man, what an impact he made. So he was the first player as a free agent that Adam had signed, to be a member of the team. And so he left a standard as a ball player. Yeah, that's easy to see, but there's also a high standard as a teammate and what leading looks like, what resilience looks like, what like grit, like doing the hard things over and over and over, not getting bored of those. Like look out there on a Thursday afternoon at Jugs and he's catching the ball for a guy who's 5th all time. Like he does not get tired of doing like the basic things really, really well, and we're gonna miss him a lot.
I bet, but obviously anytime there's an injury, it provides opportunity for some young football players. You guys got 2 kind of young tight ends, Ben Sinnott, Colson Yankoff. What have you seen from them, and how has Zach's leadership helped foster their growth?
Yeah, it really has. I mean, how can you not almost? If you're in the room and you're paying attention, like, okay, there's something going on here with this guy and the way that he works. So he helped with that. But you're right, that there's a torch, so to speak, sometimes that gets passed, and that's that time for Ben. And he's excited for it. He's put in good work. It kind of started from this year, I felt like, on the special team side, and then, beginning to make his mark. So you have to wait sometimes for your opportunity for all sorts of different reasons. But this is his time, and, I know he's ready for that moment. And Yankoff is too. Both these guys are, like, high-level prepared, have put the work in, they've developed, and they got to now go for it. And I'm certain that they will.
And Coach, it's been great to see a guy like Noah Brown come back, especially after such a long road with this injury. Can you talk about his resilience and what you've seen from him on his road to recovery to get back on the field?
Yeah, Noah's he's one of our best competitors as just a teammate, ball player, what he stands for. When you have the up and down, there's some dark moments, on your rehab on the way back. But one thing that you can count on from Noah, he's going to put his head down and work. That's just who he is and how he gets down. So for have him back into the fold, just being out on the practice field, okay, this thing's coming, the continuity with him and Terry and Debo and others, Trayvon, and it's good to have that back. And I felt the first pull of that last week at practice, and that's going to carry forward here for the next 4 weeks.
And again, we haven't seen a lot of him this year. What do you think is his biggest add to the physical skill set? What does he bring to the position?
Yeah, he's got aggressive hands, Logan. So the contested catches for him are really strong. He's an absolute dog inside in the slot. He can block. He can make contested catches. And then as a route runner, he's got real skill at that. So when you put all that together, you really find yourself a complete player. So yeah, he's got lots to prove. He's healthy. And we're excited for what he can do over these next 4 weeks.
And Coach, we saw the Giants week 1, but a lot has changed for them. One of those things has been their defensive coordinator. They changed their defensive coordinator. How are you preparing for this style of defense now that's very different than week 1?
Yeah, a lot of different moving parts on both teams, since week 1. So offensively, different with Mike still calling the plays, but Bryan not there, and defensively, like you said, some new changes. But one thing you can count on from their speed is the front. They've got some guys that can absolutely fly, and that will be, the first point for us to make sure this is the part of the game plan we need to go nail and go do that. And so division games are awesome, Brian. You know this, man, they're so much fun. You know each other, you get to play each other twice a year, this matchup, these people. What's a little different from the last game? How do you do that? Show something, keep something in your back pocket ready for the next game. And they're a lot of fun when you play the division games, going through everybody twice. Even last year, getting to play one of them 3 times. And so there's just something a little extra, and throw any records out. It's just time to go battle.
You talked about the front specifically, and again, very dynamic. You know, a guy that I think back to week 1 and watching that game was Connerly, and thinking about how much he has grown, you know, and just thinking about, it's going to be, I can't wait to watch him, you know, to see his growth. What have you seen from him, and how's he going to be prepared for this matchup?
Yeah, sometimes, and you can probably relate to this, your first year, you don't even know how much you're growing.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You know, I said, like a year ago at this time, you're saying, man, I can block that guy from Ohio State. And like, you know, you weren't thinking about, like, no, I'm going to block the best pass rushers in the NFL here soon. And so there's a cool thing that goes with that, because you're tested further than you've ever been tested, you know, your rookie year. Like, here's your limits, and you're way, way over them, way past them. But all of a sudden, you upskill, and you get better, and you learn, and you grow, and so that's what you see from him. I thought the game 2 weeks ago at Denver was maybe his best of the season, and so another good challenge, but also, where was I week 1 to where am I today? And I think that's what you're always looking for as a ball player, to say, am I a better player I was in week 1 than I am, you know, am I a better player today, than week 1? And Connerly, like, he'll be hungry to prove that.
And you got to imagine that growth has to do with Laramie Tunsil as well, right? I mean, he's been on Laramie Tunsil's hip. Wherever I see Laramie Tunsil, I see Josh Connerly Jr. How great is it to have that type of leadership?
Yeah, it's the best. And it's not something that you have to ask Laramie to do. It's not something that, you know, like, that's not what leading is, you know, where you ask someone to lead someone else. That's just the opposite of it. So knowing that he's made a big impact on him, and early on, it's like, well, that's Laramie Tunsil, and like, come here, we're going to go do this together. Like, I'm going to help you and develop you. And that's what's cool also about, you know, big parts of the NFL. There's a brotherhood to pass that on to the next. And by Connerly having that experience 10 years from now, he'll be able to share that down to someone else in that same space. And the best of the best, you know, have people like that in your corner.
And Coach, we talked about the changes on the defensive end for the Giants, but there's also some changes on the offensive end as well. Last time we saw Russell Wilson. Now we're seeing a guy in Jackson Dart. Heck of an athlete. How have you prepared for Jackson Dart, and how does that kind of change the game plan as opposed to what we were doing week 1? Yeah,
there's so many things that can be different, and how they feature players, and you know how you would call the game differently with different players in. So you see that, and so you want to look at here's the whole body of work, all the games with him, how they use him. That's different from Russell or different from Jameis and how they did it. And so a dynamic athlete, an excellent arm, throwing on the run, creating that way. And so they've been really good on third down with him in the game. And that's him also using his legs to be able to extend plays. And that'll be a big part of this game. Both quarterbacks can extend plays, you know, out of the pocket, in the pocket, and both have big arms. So, like, yeah, it's a big challenge.
How much of that third down stuff is him just being, just more aggressive? You know, like, it seems like he's got a little bit of devil may care to him, like in terms of putting the ball out there. Like, is that helping him, or is that hindering his growth, you think?
You know, I think it's helping. And like, sometimes they've had an injury at receiver, so Wandale's had a big year due to that. And so I respect that when somebody, hey, I'm going to pick up, you know, the extra, you know, opportunity that's here. And so for him, for Dart, how do they feature the offense? The backs can catch. They've got a fast team, you know, especially on the perimeter. And they know how to get the ball to those guys quickly in space and make some plays.
And Coach, Bobby Wagner ends up being the nominee for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. We talk so much about what he's able to accomplish on the field, his entire career. You've been there for a lot of it. Talk about the leadership and the man of Bobby Wagner and why he was your nominee.
I could not think, honestly, of a better candidate. I just can't. Like, his consistency, Brian, as a ball player is always there. It's also there as a man and a teammate. And so all the unseen work that he does behind the scenes, it's remarkable. And the things that he does to help others that he wants zero credit for. And, you know, so for him to be our nominee, I couldn't be more proud of him. Like, I got to see the early part. I was proud of the ball player, and I knew he'd be a good tackler then. I was certain of it. And then, but to see him, you know, obviously he's going to be a Hall of Fame football player, you know, when he decides to stop playing. But he's a Hall of Fame man. And that's hard. When both of your worlds are in order, football world, your off the field world. Like one day he'll be the commissioner of the NFL. He's going to be, I don't know, something big. I can tell you that, because like he can lead. He's got insight. He's thoughtful, and he's a rare guy, man.
Shout out to our guy, Bobby Wagner, a great player and an even better man. Coach, we appreciate your time, but now it's time for you and Logan to get us some film study.
Right on.
Always great getting to sit down with Coach and Logan. Now, while they prepare for some film study, let's get into our Prime Player, brought to you by DC Prime, Loudoun's premier steakhouse. For dinner reservations or private dining, call 703-840-2099. And this week's Prime Player is no other than future Hall of Fame linebacker Bobby Wagner. The captain of our defense earned a special nomination as the team club's winner for the 2025 Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. The six-time All-Pro linebacker earned this recognition for his dedication to community service, including working with local nonprofits and participating in NFL initiatives like Inspire Change. Bobby Wagner's nomination highlights his impact felt both on and off the field. Shout out to Bobby Wagner. We're lucky to have him here in Washington. Now, we got to take a quick break, Commanders family, but coming up, Coach and Logan will be back to break down some Commanders highlights in film study. And later on, Logan, Coach, and I will count down the kickoff. We'll be back right after this break.
The Game Plan is presented by the Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. And by the Maryland Lottery Fast Play Games. Play fast, win fast today. Please play responsibly.
Welcome back into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, presented by Salisbury University. It's time for film study, sponsored by Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. Take it away, Coach and Lo.
Thanks, Brian. Coach, it's always fun when you play a division team because you've played them already once this year. And so I look at this and I say, there's a lot of things here that the Giants do and a lot of stuff that we do as the Commanders that are really good. So I look at this, we're in 12 personnel, we got 2 tight ends on the field. They're kind of in this single safety look here, middle field closed. And just love this play action kind of element that the offense bring here. Get the linebackers to bite up, and then great ball here by Jaden to Noah Brown.
Yeah, this is where it all comes together, because if you can run the ball well, now the play action and the run action and the gap schemes can come. And so you look at this particular one, all right, gap play that we had earlier in the run game, you better get downhill to go stop it. And then now if you can get behind the backers and still have the good protection, Logan, then you got a shot, because now here's an in-breaker for Noah. He's playing with great stride extension. All right, can snap down, inside breaking route, contested catch, running through it. That's him like to a T in the route running and the physicality for sure.
I think you just see like the value of the play action here. And the stuff you're talking about, like just ensuring grass, as opposed to like a tight window throw. Great route by the receiver, obviously, like push off. And again, to create this level of separation is great. But really like kind of making an easy throw. You've earned this easy throw by running the football so effectively.
And so when you have the balance of both, you can absolutely rip the ball into that spot. And this is a big chunk play, So when you get 15, 20 yards at your shot, there's a run and another one. And now when you have the balance of those, you just keep going down the field and being aggressive.
And I really can't wait to see him catch a football back now that he's back healthy, because he's so physical, he's so tough, and he's so competitive, right? Like, just to see him get back involved is going to be awesome.
And all the different locations and how we'll do it. Yeah, we are too, man. He's worked really hard, Logan, to get back. And sometimes those roads back, you do come back stronger, more resilient. So he's got a lot to prove for sure.
Yeah. And so, again, it's him. It's Terry's back in the fold. And, again, this is another one. We got this kind of cover 3 look here. Run a little bit of a play action shot here. Terry does a great job on this comeback. And you just see the confidence of the offensive line in terms of protection. Great job creating a pocket here. We get a little bit of chip help on the perimeter. And then Jaden just delivering a confident football in this comeback.
Yeah, and some of the empty formations, when you can get help, sometimes you need a deeper throw. Like on this one, I believe we were in a 2nd down and long. So you want to get some chunk yardage back so you can get into a manageable 3rd down. And so a clean pocket, allowed to go rip the ball inside. And so when you can have this kind of pocket and play strong and aggressive, because these guys can really rush, Logan, that is a big deal.
I mean, it does show up. The pass rush for them has been great. And again, it's going to be interesting to see kind of the final form of this offensive line coming through. Because, first game of the year, they're still trying to figure some stuff out. Now I feel like they've really galvanized in a nice way. And so, like you said, the protection here is so important. You see how it stretches the zones. It lets the coverage distribute. So can't wait to watch that on Sunday or today. So love to see Terry catching that football. The other guy that I love watching is Debo, right? He's just been a really nice add to this offense. And we got a crossing route here versus man-to-man coverage. And what do you see from him, Coach, on this route?
Yeah, again, another empty set. But then when you get into the space and they want a man match, and so the ability for Debo to threaten, the nickel vertical first, and now you can create some separation, stair-step them up the field, right up the hash as going vertical. Then break it on a route. Now you can throw it over top of the robber. You're clearing it out on the top side with Jalen. And now, again, another window to throw in, and you're running away from a leverage, and that's a big deal. Yeah,
I love that you brought that up, kind of a layered throw here, right? Because, again, the route's good, but really the throw is the other element here that brings it to life, right? Because this is a tough window here. He's got to kind of throw over this defender here, kind of right in the pocket there. It's really an excellent job.
So where are you going to defend? Where are you going to cut to? You can see they're trying to use a thief down low, but you can find your matchup. Again, where does it always start? Logan, you know this, man, like the protection. That is, a number one, top of the pile.
Yeah, and I think it's no coincidence that all these explosive plays down the field, it's the protection, right?
Yes.
It's the chip help. It's the guys winning one-on-ones. It's the play-action pass, put the guys in good position to be successful. And, again, it's really good offense is an 11-man opportunity, right?
That's right.
So love to see that. And, again, so Debo here winning versus man coverage. And the other thing that I was a little bit surprised at in his game is his ability to win versus zone. We're going to get this bunch. He's going to motion up top. We're going to get like a little bit of what I would call like a pull concept, kind of some stuff to hold the lower coverage, and then a dig. And a great route by Debo here, but also a great throw by Jaden here, anticipating the spot at a really high level.
Yeah, again, when you're down low, where does, some of the weakness, can we get it behind the backers? Can you get it to the safety? And so just seeing the switch release between Zach and Noah up on the top first, how are you going to pass that off? And now the dagger coming in behind here with Debo. So different guys, different locations. Where do you go? Where do you stress the coverage? You can see even, with the back coming out here, with Eck coming to the side and Terry. So not just, vertically, but, stressing the defense, the whole 53 1/3 wide. So again, where does it start, man? The protection and being able to, have a clean pocket to go rip the ball down.
Love it. And again, great throw by Jaden and everybody playing together. And this is finally the band's back together. So
yes.
Can't wait to watch them on Sunday. It's going to be great.
Yeah, we're fired up, Logan.
Shout out to Coach and Logan for that film study. Now, while they work their way back to the couch, let's get into our winning numbers, brought to you by Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. And those winning numbers are from our veteran linebacker and future Hall of Famer, Von Miller. We got a few of them. During Week 14, Von Miller recorded his 134th career sack and 6 in his first season in the Burgundy and Gold. Miller leads the way in the NFL as the current active all-time sack leader, right above future Hall of Fame defensive ends Cameron Jordan and Myles Garrett. We're lucky to have some gold jacket talent on this defense. Now, let's take a look at more of the upcoming competition. It's time for a competitive edge brought to you by FanDuel. Make every more and more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. And here's a look at some of the numbers from Washington and the upcoming competition against the New York Giants. Washington enters Week 15 coming off of a loss to Minnesota Vikings and are currently sitting in 3rd place in the NFC East with a 3-9 record. But it's time to end the season with some NFC East football. The Commanders begin their 4-week stretch of games against divisional opponents in East Rutherford to take on the New York Giants. The Giants are led by rookie quarterback Jackson Dart and are coming off of a Week 14 bye and sit right below Washington with a 2-11 record. The Commanders will head to New York looking to get back into the win column against a divisional opponent. Now, we got to go to break, Commanders fans. Be sure to stick around because Logan, Coach, and I will be right back to count down the kickoff and talk more about this Week 15 matchup against the New York Giants. Welcome back into the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, sponsored by Salisbury University Seagulls in support of alumnus Dan Quinn. It is time for your must-watch moment presented by Marsh McLennan Agency. And this week's must-watch moment is Daron Payne's big sack against Minnesota. Now, last week against Minnesota, Payne recorded his 2nd sack of the season and 36th of his career in the Burgundy and Gold. With that sack, Payne surpassed Montez Sweat and Dave Butts for 8th all-time in career sacks in franchise history. With only 6 more sacks needed, Payne is knocking on the door of top 5 for the Burgundy and Gold. Can't wait to see our guy reach that milestone. Now it's time for our countdown to kickoff presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Coach, in closing, we talked about how exciting these NFC East matchups are. What has been your message to these guys as we head on to today's game against the New York Giants?
Yeah, it's right here, man. We need commander, energy, and play style. That's the bottom line. Throw the records out, throw everything out. Let's make sure, when you go on the road, you better pack your defense, pack your special teams, and play physical. And that's what I want to see from our team, to make sure, at the end of the day, the speed, the intensity, the hitting, we know we can win with that. And that's what I hope all of our fans see just jumping off the screen at them as they're watching the game.
And I'm sure it makes it easier because it is a division game, right? And so getting up for it's a little bit easier. Like, how do you kind of direct that energy, that passion, make sure the guys are locked in for the moment?
Yeah, I think coming off hopefully a career worst performance, man, you come off the mat and you swing first.
Yeah.
And that's what the game's about, division games. And so make sure the identity's right.
Sure.
We take care of those things and do a great job with the ball and find our way into the plus. Those are the things that matter. But the process of winning all along the week, if you do that right, you give yourself a great shot.
Swing first, Commanders family. We love that, Coach. We always appreciate your time, Commanders family. This has been the Game Plan with head coach Dan Quinn, Logan Paulsen. I'm your host, Bryan Colbert Jr. Excited to see y'all out in New York when we take on the Giants.
The Game Plan, sponsored by Salisbury University, was filmed at the Big Bear AI Command Center studio. Big Bear AI offers mission-ready AI for a rapidly evolving world, proudly protecting the Washington Commanders and its fans.